Always a pleasure to have Matthew Dickerson on the radio with us here at Magic 87.6. But Matt, before we did all this kind of video hookup stuff that we're doing today, you could have, I could have at least shaved.
One of the advantages of radio, obviously, is you don't need to worry about what you're wearing or shaving. And I'm throwing all that out. I'm sorry, Andrew, and you're going to actually appear on video, so I do apologise for that.
I know, right? As I always say, there is a reason I work in a non-visual medium, and it's not because of my devilish good looks. I'll tell you that right now. Don't you know the old saying, radio, making ugly people sound attractive since 1922.
So you're saying as far as radio goes, you've got a great face for radio.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm coming out of hiding. By the way, just for everyone who's watching your video, this is our home isolation studio because you're going to see the background of my studio. And we'll share it on the Magic 87.6 Facebook page as well when we put it all together. So this is where we're broadcasting from, some bedroom stuff going on here. There's a bit of records over on this side. There's a bit of gear over this side, but welcome to the Magic Home Isolation Studio, as they say.
The salubrious studios of Magic 87.6.
That is exactly right. We're like everyone else. We're working from home. So, all right, let's talk some tech stuff right now. Virtual barbers, they're here to help. How does this work? Because I know everyone's doing the bowl cuts lately. What's the deal with the virtual barber?
Well, there are some occupations that you can work in isolation relatively easily, radio being one. There's other occupations that it's not quite so easy, and barbers, they're one of the industries that's been severely impacted by COVID-19. But some are getting very creative in what they're doing. And if you go to www.youprobablyneedahaircut.com, you can book an appointment for a professional barber to give you guidance in your haircut. Now, I must admit that doing it yourself might be a little bit tricky, going around behind your head trying to cut your hair, a mirror, then your hand starts going in the opposite direction of the way you expect it. So if I was going to do it, I'd probably enlist my wife or one of my kids to help me out there. But you can pay, for example, in US dollars, $18 for a 20-minute session or $30 for a 45-minute session. Have a barber show you and tell you how to cut your hair, internet connection, webcam, that's all you need.
Wow. Thank goodness I've been follically challenged since 1998. That's all I've got to say.
You don't need it, you think? You should be safe.
No, I don't. I just go get the clippers, the $14 job from Big W, not even the expensive ones. You can just go the once over up the top. See, for the benefit of the people in the video, I'll show it there. There's not much there. There's a bit on. I've got the koala haircut going, mate. You know, the bit on the sides and not much on the top.
Yeah, another one.
So, yeah. I come from a long line of koalas. My grandpa had the koala hairstyle as well. He had the greying on the side and the harbour bridge over the top, as we used to call it. But I'm not exactly there yet. I'm still good. There's still a bit of colour. You can see what I once had. It was black.
As long as you don't start the comb over. The comb over is when you know you're in trouble.
No, I swore I'd never do a comb over. No. But the first time I ever did shave my hair, though, I do remember it because it was for it was one of the early Cancer Council shave-free cure things. And I was working at a radio station. I was very paranoid. I got dubbed in to do it. And it was validated the next day when I rocked into the radio station, very embarrassed, and I stuck in the studios. And the very cute journalist I had a crush on came in and said, "Come on, show me." And I'm like, no. She's like, "Show me. I want to see it." And I'm like, and she touched my head, and that was it. I was like, I'm good now. if women find this attractive, I'm good. If women want to touch my head, I'll shave it forever.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then my wife looked at it and goes, "You just need to shampoo."
Well, you can save on shampoo. That might be the next panic buy, shampoo. But if you're follically challenged, you don't need to worry too much about the shampoo.
Yeah, no, you don't need to. No, just get a cake of soap over the top. It works. But yeah. Have you gone to the bowl yet? Because that's the latest thing. You go get the bowl over the head and you just kind of cut round it.
No, I remember a few kids at school used to get the old bowl, but I'm trying to resist the bowl.
Because that is the latest Facebook challenge. I'm issuing it right here, right now, Matt. I want to see a Facebook video of you getting the bowl done.
I'd suggest you keep searching for that and see if you can find it.
If they can pull it off, seriously. Comment in the video when you do see it, and if we get enough, maybe we'll get you to do the old bowl haircut.
Who knows? We get enough comments asking for it. We'll see how we go.
All right, there you go. That could be next week's video here on the Tech Chat. All right, now we're all working from home. I'm doing it as we've been doing it here for the last couple of weeks at Magic 87.6, broadcasting from the home isolation studio. And look, some people have been missing the sounds of the office. You still have to go into the office every now and then, don't you, Matt?
Yeah, I do actually go into our office, but I think there are some people who are working in that, I suppose, more traditional office environment that doesn't, it's not a retail environment, there's not a lot of people coming through, but they would have those traditional sounds in the background. They'd have snippets of conversation from other cubicles nearby, or a fan blowing, or maybe some phones ringing. So if you go to imisstheoffice.eu, obviously a European site, you can hear all these background noises. You can even hear those annoying noises when there'll be someone nearby that's a bit dry in the mouth and they kind of smack their lips together. So all those little sounds that maybe might be annoying in the normal sort of environment, but at the moment, I think people are missing those sounds. You've even got, say, the occasional ping pong match going in the background, which I don't have a ping pong table in my office. I don't know how many people do have, but these are the sort of sounds that people are creating in those background noises. And you can even go to an office layout and you can go and click on certain things. So, for example, click on the water cooler, you'll hear water filling up into a cup. Click on the printer or the photocopier, hear the sounds that a normal photocopier and printer. You might even get to jam the printer and then have someone swearing at the printer to say, why doesn't this damn thing work? And even my favourite is when people sit in a vinyl chair and they just squeak in there and it makes a sound a little bit like passing wind, and everyone looks around at the person. Of course, the person says, no, it was the chair, and they jump up and down another 10 times to prove it, and of course it doesn't happen the next 10 times. So you've got all those sorts of office sounds, because some people would, I think, really miss those sounds of the office and start to feel maybe a little bit more isolated than normal. So this website's designed to try and help people feel comfortable in their home environment.
Asked me that question a couple of weeks ago. She says, do you miss being in an office? And I said, no. And she was flabbergasted by it. She went, really? I went, yeah. I said, I love this home isolation stuff. I said, it's great. I said, I don't have to have stupid conversations with people about the most inane stuff. And if I want to, like now, I'm going to show this for the benefit of the people on the video. Look, I can come in the office, Matt. Look, check this out. I got no shoes on. I'm barefooted. I'm like, can't do that stuff at the office.
And no one's going to complain about
I love it.
foot odour. Maybe your wife might complain about foot odour, but no one in the office can complain about foot odour anyway.
I know. Yeah. I used to sit next to a chick for 2.5 years at a radio station, and she was an incessant singer.
Oh.
And don't get me wrong, I love the music that I play on the radio, but it didn't matter who she was, whether there was anyone around or there was no one around. She was always one of these low-level singers, and you're trying to concentrate on doing a task or something, and all you hear is this woman going, and you would just go, you just look at her and just go, Tiana, can you just be quiet? She's like, oh, yeah, sorry, 2 minutes later. And it would just you just have to walk away.
And nothing
worse. You have to go in isolation just to escape.
Well, that's right. Nothing worse than when they're singing a song that's one of your favourite songs, and you feel like saying, look, I love that song. Piano Man's one of my favourite songs. I love that song when Billy Joel sings it, but when you sing it, it's just not quite the same.
No, there you go. You just give me a lead into the next song then, here at Magic 87.6. All right, let's. I'll play Billy Joel on the radio, but we'll.
Thank you.
You may have to do this video in 2 parts, Matt. All right, here we go. Now, a lot of people are struggling with the leisurely drives around the place. Some people like to kind of do that to break up the. You can't do that anymore. You got to have an excuse to go somewhere. But if you need a bit of a motoring fix, there are ways that you can actually do it, right?
Yeah, a whole range of different ways. And I saw that what I thought was a very disappointing story down in Victoria where a young girl was going out and doing some of her hours for her L plates, and they got fined for being out for non-essential driving. And I thought, well, it was probably a pretty good use of time to go out and do some driving with a mum. It wasn't like she was exposing herself to more people. And so I thought that was good use of their time. Eventually the fine was overturned, but there are lots of people who just like to drive. They've got nice cars, there's nice scenery around Australia, but you can't just go and do that now. So there's a few things that I came up with in terms of things you could do. So one is, of course, Forza Horizon, and Forza Horizon 3 is probably the best of those. You can play this on a PC or on Xbox, but if you play version 3, you can go through various scenes around Australia. So a lot of them will have scenes around different parts of the world, but you can drive in some classic scenes, the Great Ocean Road, the Surfers Paradise sort of drive, and actually get a bit of your driving fix in that way. Another one I thought of might be Gran Turismo Sport. Now, it is obviously a sport game, a game where you're actually driving for competition. And that, my recommendation there would be to go and get your proper racing wheel, get your racing pedals, and really set yourself up to drive as if you're Michael Schumacher or Sebastian Vettel, someone like that, and really get into the scene. You can take on some of the great circuits around the world. You can actually race at Bathurst. They don't have V8 supercars on it, but you can still race around the track at Bathurst. Then if you want something a bit more leisurely, Audi's come up with something that they call The Drive. It's a 4-hour-long road trip through New South Wales Central Tablelands, and basically they've just filmed a 4-hour drive. So you can sit back, watch that, and my recommendation there would be drive along for maybe a couple of hours, stop, have a cup of tea, have a coffee, maybe even have a beer, because you couldn't normally do that on a drive, and then get back in, go for another couple of hours as if you've finished off the drive, or turn around and do the whole thing again. But again, it gives you that bit of a fix for that. On a couple of other slightly different ones, Harley Davidson have gone through and they've got a guided meditation. Now, there's a YouTube channel, and if you've got an Oculus headset, a VR Oculus headset, you can actually put that on and get this meditation on the ride, on a Harley Davidson ride with your Oculus headset. And the last one is a couple of motoring magazines have gotten together and they've got hashtag Drive After ISO. And what they've done is they've suggested people send in their favourite routes, their favourite scenery, just to give people something to look forward to. When we finally come out of isolation, you can plan that big road trip. So a few different ways there, 5 different ways to get your driving fix when we're all stuck at home without the ability to just go for a drive for the sake of it.
I just love the fact that I could drive along the Great Ocean Road. No matter how many times I went down it, I always got nauseous on the way to the Lord. And I lived there for 3.5 years. Went down it many a time, but no, halfway down, the wife would look at me, I'd go all white. She goes, "You're sick, right?" I went, "Yeah."
Well, if these were realistic enough, you might still get sick doing the virtual version of it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, probably will. I'll probably get sick thinking about that time I got sick on the way to the Lord.
It might be so ingrained now, you might have formed such a good habit that every time you see that scenery, it just makes you feel sick. So, look, there's a really good challenge for you, just to go out there and have a go at that and see what happens.
Could be. Hang on, I'm thinking about stuff now in Geelong. And yeah, no, it's just making me sick. The whole thing's making me sick. Let's move on. LG, they've put out a new phone, or they've got a new one coming out, Matt, the LG Velvet. I
can't tell you, Andrew, the price. I can't tell you the features. I can't tell you any of the exact dates. I know an approximate time frame, but I can tell you the name. And LG have given up on the numbering scheme. Obviously, most phone manufacturers go with a numbering scheme. You've got iPhone 11 we're up to now. We've got the Samsung Galaxy S20 we're up to. So most phones go with that numbering scheme. And LG used to have a numbering scheme, but they're not really going that well in the smartphone market. It's so heavily dominated by Apple and by Samsung. So they've tried something a bit different. They're bringing out the LG Velvet. Now, it is breaking with that tradition of the names and alphanumeric names for devices. And LG says the name Velvet is meant to evoke images of lustrous smoothness and premium softness, which characterises the new device. I'm not convinced, I must admit. I'm not sure that people want to know about the lustrous smoothness. They want to know about the features and how it's going to beat the other phones on the market. But what I do like about this is there's competition in the smartphone market. And even though Samsung and Apple rule the roost in terms of smartphones, other companies are still trying to knock them off their perch and bringing out new phones, or in this case, new names of phones, to try and compete in that marketplace. So I think that's good for us as consumers overall.
Yeah, I can't even remember the last time I used the word lustrous, let alone an LG phone.
Well, that's what they think.
Marketing campaign, that one.
That's what they think Velvet will conjure up images of in our minds when we hear about it.
Yeah, I can hear it now. So you've got an iPhone, you got a Samsung, right? Yeah, what are you rocking? I've got a Velvet. It just sounds wrong in so many areas. Like, seriously, there's so many names you could have picked, but Velvet isn't one of them. I wonder if it's going to go back to like the 70s where they'll just put, like a shag kind of velvet layer over the top of it.
Well, we haven't even seen a copy of it yet, and that might be the case. They might put that beautiful velvet over it. Like, remember the velvet wallpaper? I'm not sure if it was even called wallpaper, but you used to have these places, I think Chinese restaurants used to have velvet on the walls, and you just go in there just to feel the wall. So who knows, maybe they'll do that, or they'll bring a case out that's velvet. But look, I would like to know some of the features, the specs, the release date, the price.
Yeah.
Can't do any of that, but I can tell you it's called Velvet. And then where do you go next? What's the next model after Velvet? That becomes...
Puce.
Puce, who knows?
Puce. I would like to see an LG Puce.
Rightio, we'll see how we go.
The LG Polka Dot. Hey, just ring me, LG. I'll come up with names for you. I'll get you sorted. It's all right.
No, well, LG watch
Twitch
this program each week, so obviously they'll pick up on those ideas straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't call me because I won't call you. All right, Twitch is a big thing right now, Matt. It's having a bit of a renaissance and kind of getting a bit of a market share at them. I DJ, obviously I have lots of records, so I DJ. And lots of DJs are using it at the moment, but now that everyone's kind of using it, they're starting to put some rules on it, aren't they?
Well, they are putting some rules on it, and it is big at the moment. It's the most popular streaming site worldwide. About 15 million daily users, and just last week there was one particular instance of 4 million people using it at the same time. So that's quite incredible, using one game at the same time. But they've just started to change their rules, and they've said that bums and underboobs are now banned, but cleavage is allowed still. And what was happening is people were trying to get more subscribers to their channel, and obviously it's a gaming site. Then they were starting to expose more parts of their body to try and get more people watching their particular channel, not so much based on the game, but on how the person looked. And Twitch got to the point, they said, well, we want kids playing this, we want kids that are home from school holidays, we want all sorts of people playing it. So if all that happens when they tune in is they see bits and pieces of people's bodies, maybe that's not the best thing. So they've started to ban that, and the guidelines have taken effect immediately. There's no grace period, there's no let's get used to this and we'll change it tomorrow. It's immediate, so that anyone that's got a channel that's putting too much of their body on show will have those parts of it shut down. So show cleavage, don't show nipples. You can show skimpy clothes but can't show bottoms. It's really getting back to just games. And so the big test is, will it still be as popular when it gets away from showing bits of the body?
Well, yeah, as I said to you, at the moment, it is the only streaming site that doesn't have very strict copyright rules. Because if you stream on Facebook and you're a DJ, because they don't have agreements with all the record companies, you will actually get kicked off your streaming midstream. Facebook doesn't care. It just goes, no. The same as well.
Oh, sorry, there's another call that just came in, so I just knocked it out, but that lost you for about 2 seconds.
Oh, that's all right.
That's right.
That's all right. I'll continue now.
Sure.
So Facebook will just cut you off midstream. They don't care. Instagram, I think, is a little bit more lenient. I know a lot of people are now starting to use Instagram a bit, but you find that everyone is now getting directed to Twitch because of that fact that you won't get kicked off. Some of the world's leading DJs are on there at the moment.
Oh, wow. Well, there were 1.2 billion hours of content streamed just last month in Twitch. So there's obviously a lot of people around the world using Twitch. Yeah,
no, it is absolutely massive. And all sorts of music as well, not just your modern Luftwaffe stuff. You can go there, there's like disco DJs and all sorts of stuff. It's phenomenal, the amount of content that is now going on Twitch. All right, I am very self-conscious in doing this because we've been recording a video with Matthew Dickerson, and I've been very wary of touching my face or scratching my nose through this video, and I think I've only done it a handful of times. because apparently when you do that, I think it means that you're lying or something. I don't know. It's allegedly what I have.
Well, at the moment with
But,
COVID-19, obviously the idea is to keep our hands well away from our face. So it's
I know.
actually quite interesting how many times you do it without realising it.
I know. I'm trying to do that, and I'm getting more conscious of it. But look, there will be a video of this up on Matthew's Facebook page, and we will share it to the Magic 87.6 page. And yeah, you can all check it out as we're all self-isolating at the moment. So that's what we're doing here at Magic 87.6. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Andrew. Talk to you again in a virtual sense next week.